Welcome to the Humanity Sells Podcast, where we talk about the marketing revolution that's happening in tech consulting and how the best businesses are elevating their brand, amplifying their message, and selling more by being more human. We're your hosts, Brandon Triola.
And I'm Nate Nettie. Let's get into it.
Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most human ways to sell offerings. And I'm talking about complex offerings. I'm talking about expensive offerings, technology consulting offerings, tech offerings, managed service offerings, right? Offerings. We hear this all the time. We need more offerings, or we have offerings we need to get to market.
Yeah.
How do you sell offerings when the market's so crowded, when you've got competitors that probably, if you're in like a partner technology space, your top 3 to 4 competitors all probably have the same kind of offering?
Yeah. I'm going to start us off with a really great analogy, make it real visceral for people.
Ooh, you saying the word visceral.
Think about wine. Probably a lot of wine connoisseurs out there in the consulting world. A lot of wine people. A lot of. It's like a high-end thing to do.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about wine is there are so many different kinds.
My kids' wine. That's about all I know.
You go to a wine shop, and you're standing there. You are surrounded by 4 to...
Is this what a sommelier is? A sommelier is a wine expert? Is that coffee?
Yeah, that's what wine expert. They can literally taste the wine, tell you where it is in the world.
That's crazy.
So you go to a wine shop, you're surrounded by 500 bottles, and you're standing there, you're trying to pick a bottle. There's apps for this and all this, but like, let's just say you just walk in, you're like, what do I pick? You're looking at everything in front of you. How, as a winemaker, you know that you make something awesome. You know that it tastes amazing. You know that it's a best-in-class wine that you've made. You know that your grapes are awesome, from the right region, the aging. You've got the best people working at the vineyard. You had good weather this year. None of that means anything if you don't package it up right and put it on the shelf and make it stand out against the other 400 bottles right there.
And there are 400.
Yeah. And what we see in B2B tech, before you get into how to not do this, is we see these incredible technologies and these incredible innovations on these platforms rolled out as if they're a great, fine wine, perfectly aged, perfectly brought to fruition in a plastic bag.
In a Deer Park water bottle.
in a plastic bag sitting on the shelf next to the prisoner, next to Duckhorn, whatever it is. It's just in a plastic bag, and they're going, why is no one paying me $250,000 for this? Why is no one paying me $1 million for this? I don't understand. Yeah. It tastes just as good.
This is a 6-figure implementation. Why does it look like a 16-year-old with PowerPoint put it together?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the point is this. Everything is packaging design.
Everything comes down to packaging design.
It all comes down to creativity and differentiation and execution. Can you tell everybody, one of the things that we have done as a business is help people, companies, thought leaders, offerings stand out from their competitors, rise above the market, like signal to their buyer on that shelf of all the wines, like jump out at them. I'm the one to purchase. Can you talk about how people can start to think about that in B2B tech?
Yeah, I think it's a great framework. We use the grocery store shelf analogy a lot because I think you can do a lot of different products, not just wine. Like another one is coffee. Mm-hmm. Like when you look at all the different kinds of coffee bags, like some of them just stand out. And now people are like, we got to make this really bold. I think where this really hits home is, and a great example of a brand, it's not really in the tech space, but like Liquid Death.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the story of Liquid Death. If you're not sure who Liquid Death is, this guy had this idea that he was so tired of all the stupid sparkling waters that were out there. And he decided to take this.
They all look like they should be in a hand of a blonde model running down the beach in the 80s. That's sparkling
he
water
zagged so hard in the other direction and said, we are going to start a sparkling water brand called Liquid Death. And these cans are they're like metal and gold, and it's like black leather. They look like Liquid Death.
There's skulls on them.
The package, the actual design of the packaging matches the ethos of what he wants, like sort of evoke inside of people. They are worth $700 million.
They sell water.
They sell water because all they did was they repackaged it. So the same principle applies. Whether you're selling water or coffee or wine, people weigh and shop for tech products almost more intensely than they shop for wine or water.
Oh, absolutely.
They are
millions of dollars are
constantly
on the line.
So your offerings are on a shelf, whether you're aware of this or not. You may think maybe they only exist on your website or like on the Salesforce platform or on.
And you have the best people, of course. So there's no competition.
Yeah, yours, but like they're all the same. And everybody, there are other people that have the same offerings. Other competitors have the same offerings, and the people that need those offerings, that need those solutions, they're weighing them, right? Like they're looking at all of them that are there. They're saying, okay, looking at theirs is this. They're weighing everything. Like who do I relate to? Who do I trust? It all comes down to packaging design. So the first thing that you could do is just know that, right? Think about your offering like a physical product on a shelf.
Is it packaged up in a way that's attractive to my market?
Yes. Or am I just looking at what the competitor next door did to theirs and saying, well, we'll say the same thing.
Yeah. We'll say it a little different.
And then this is about as far in a lot of technology consulting spaces. This is about as far as competitive analysis goes. They look at what the shop next door is saying or the competitor next door. Oh, they're saying this. That must be right because we envy them. So we'll say the same thing. Now you've got 6 products on a shelf that are all just like a different color and they're doing the same thing. So think about your offering like a physical product. Package it up to be different. So we have a really simple framework for how you can measure this. It's pretty easy. And it's this. It's a 4-part sort of a framework or a lens to look through your offerings. Your offering needs to be different, first and foremost. Is it different? And not just different for the sake of different, but what are the business values of the differentiators of your offering? So it's one thing to say, why is our offering different than X competitor? It's another thing totally to take a step back and go, okay, here are the 3 differentiators, but what's the business value? You've got to outline the business value. So first thing, is it different? The next thing, is it clear? This is the human way to do packaging design. Make it really clear. Our product helps this person overcome this and do this. Make it really clear. It is a blank built on blank that helps you do this. Don't be jargony. Don't be elusive or vague, or don't try to be cute. Don't even try to be sexy. Clear is always better than clever, especially when it comes to offering, especially when it comes to going to market with a technology offering or a solution or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, it needs to be compelling. Make me stop. Make me go, whoa, like this is Liquid Death. They did this with sparkling water. If one guy can do this with sparkling water and make $700 million, why can't a brilliant, innovative team of technology geniuses do this for an offering? That's a $100,000 offering. It's totally possible. And we're seeing this happen. So make it compelling. And then the fourth thing, make it memorable. Make it cause me to walk away, not forgetting about that. The Liquid Death effect, right? Like, oh my gosh, I just saw this guy with a can of sparkling water. It said Liquid Death on it. You will never forget that. You'll go into the store, and guess what? When you're looking at sparkling waters, go into the grocery store and look at which ones stand out off the shelf. You could see all of them. You could see LaCroix and like Zevia and like Bubbly. Is that one of the other ones?
Bubbly,
and then right there with the black can is Liquid Death. And it's staring you right in the soul. And this is the compelling factor and the memorable factor. That's the fourth thing. So make it different, make it clear, make it compelling, and make it memorable.
Package it up.
Package it up.
Don't make it a bag of wine on the shelf. Put some freaking packaging around it. Bring it to the market in a powerful way.
This is where I think creative teams, if you have a creative team at your business,
they're probably your secret weapon that you haven't been utilizing for years. You've just seen them as the company to help you make, or they're
making decks all day.
Makes slide decks for you. Yeah. I got a sales presentation. Help me make this. Your creative team is your secret. Go to them and say, hey, I got this thing that we made. Help me package it up to make it clear, make it compelling, make it memorable. They will help you do that. Especially if you have a great creative team, they will immediately take your offering and help you separate it from the jump.
Yeah. So I'll break this down a little bit further and make it even like more actionable and valuable if you're listening to this. So come up with a compelling name for your offering. That's also really important. The naming piece of this is really important. When you're in a crowded tech space, they're all techie jargon names. Come up with a name that's compelling and memorable and simple, right? That's important. Then make it different. Come up with like a mini visual identity for your offering. We do this a lot. And markets for clients that have like a crowded space, making like its own look and feel, giving it its own like fonts and brands and brand colors that are sort of come from the parent brand are really important. And then make it really clear by carefully crafting a messaging framework for it. Yeah. Come up with a script, a story script like we talked about.
If you have a compelling brand strategy,
yes,
you can swim that all the way down into the product strategy.
You can take your brand strategy and you can take your brand story, and then you can now look at your offering and build like a child story off of it. Child story, that sounds weird to say, but like parent story, smaller story for the offering, have a really compelling messaging strategy. And then the next step, get your product on the shelves. This is where you leverage your marketing people instead of just having them post random content. Let them come up with channel strategies, campaign strategies to get the offering out there.
And make the most of all the packaging that you've created.
Make the most
all
of
the
it.
Difference, all the everything that's memorable about it, everything that's compelling about it. They will help you a good team will help you amplify all the things that they should.
If your shoppers shop on LinkedIn, right? Think about the grocery store. What aisles do they go down? Get your offering in those aisles. If they're on LinkedIn, get LinkedIn ad campaign going. Put $500 to $1,000 out there and test out some of the personas. Test out a campaign, A/B test a couple things. If it's Instagram, maybe even TikTok. A lot of B2B tech companies are starting to get into TikTok. Get some things out there. Get your offering, get your coffee or your wine or your sparkling water on the right shelf in the grocery store aisle. See what works, iterate, and you'll be amazed at what starts to happen.
Packaging design is everything in B2B tech.
Is it everything? Yeah, it is. Packaging design is everything. I'll say that again. Hey, if you guys found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this with somebody else in the B2B tech or digital transformation space. We've said this 1,000 times, but we are on a mission to help 1,000 digital transformation leaders elevate their brand, amplify their message, and sell more tech faster by humanizing. We need your help doing that. Thanks, guys.